Hi Taurus, welcome back to my channel. This is your November 2018 Tarot and Astrology reading. So, thank you for all your likes and subscriptions. If you haven't already subscribed, please do. I'm currently doing monthly and mid-monthly readings on this channel for all the signs. Now, Taurus, we are in Scorpio season, and as if you're not aware, Scorpio season is your sector of partnerships, 7th house energy. It comes opposite you in the zodiac. So when we have this sun there, it can often indicate that our ego and partnerships are very closely aligned. So a lot of the time, it's actually a great time to meet people that are on the same level as you whenever you have 7th house energy surrounding you. Jupiter's been in that side of the sky for you since October last year, and it's going to shift into your 8th house energy. So there's still a somewhat Scorpiophonic theme. That doesn't totally leave, but going into your 8th house, Jupiter is going to be giving you abundance in the area of secrets. So you could be coming across in the next year some information, some dealings, some aspects of your life that you get to keep to yourself, or that you have to keep to yourself for a while in order to succeed at them. Now, Jupiter in that side of the sky can, of course, rule inheritance. It can actually rule other people's money, so it doesn't have to be something as catch-22 as that, because inheritance isn't something you want to hear, you know. It's actually more to do with other people's money. It's more to do with financial sector, the stock market, okay? So you could be having a lot of luck in that side of the sector. But Venus, because we're talking about love and partnerships, Venus was retrograding in your sign of partnerships, so you can imagine that was a little bit interesting. It could have been a few people returned from the past. There could have been people in and out. People could have been one way and not who they seemed to be. There might have been some unusual and well, yes, I would say unusual crushes, Taurus. There could have been some relationships that didn't quite get off the ground, in and out. And it's shifted into Libra, which takes the aspect back to your day-to-day. You know, how do you want to switch up your routine? Because Venus is still retrograding there. And not forgetting, of course, that Venus is your ruler, so this hits you quite hard. It's really affected Libra, Taurus, and Scorpio the most, this Venus retrograde saga. But it ends on the 16th. Hurrah! And then it's going to go into Scorpio again in December. And that's when you're going to really feel the luck about your partnerships, okay? The Sun trines Neptune on the 6th. So that's also affecting your 11th house energy. You could have a lot of success online, Taurus, an online connection if you're looking for love. Jupiter, of course, in your partnership sector trines, again, that area on the 1st. So there is a lot of partnership luck coming up just before Jupiter leaves your sign. So if you've not met somebody special, Taurus, hold on to your hats, because you just might. In the first month of November, very magical energy is happening for a few signs in that sector, because obviously for Scorpio, it rules romance. For you, it rules partnership. So a lot of signs are actually going to be having a pretty good time with that. So you're no exception. And the new moon in Scorpio on the 7th, best time to set your intentions for what you want in a relationship. You know, like, what type of partner do you want? You write that down and you have that list. Keep it beside your bed and really focus what it would be like to have that. Or if you want your relationship to be more certain ways, focus on the feelings that you want to have in your relationships. It's a very powerful new moon, and I mean very powerful, especially because Jupiter then leaves that side of the sky the very next day. This full moon is a great evening to take to yourself and really focus. You know, how do you want your partnerships to look this time next year, okay? So, with that being said, let's see what we have. Ooh. Yep. There is an attraction. Ooh, yes. There's a romance. Okay, Taurus. Oh my goodness, the Empress. Interesting. Okay, let's see. The Magician and the Four of Swords. Okay. What's underneath? The Queen of Cups. Okay, Taurus. You could be dealing with well, you know what? I want to say this. I think everyone gets very preoccupied if they don't hear their sign, or, you know, one sign is said and the other one's not, and you can't, you know, if I said the sign of every single card, I'd be here forever, but there's a few that stick out, Taurus. We could have the water signs. Oh, yeah, okay, well, she's clearly, you could be dealing with a slippery fish because she's quite hard to get hold of here. Queen of Cups could be a Pisces, Scorpio, or Cancer. We have the Empress, which could be a Libra or a fellow Taurus, and we could have the Gemini here with the Magician. Water signs are enhanced by the page. But of course, air and fire energy, the whole shebang. Now, I do sense a sparkle, Taurus. So as I said before, the first week in November is pretty special astrologically. And I do sense that there's sort of this magical element of Jupiter and Neptune, because Neptune's very romantic. And Jupiter, in a water sign, likes to create abundance in the feeling sectors in Tarot the Cups. You know, romantic offerings. Jupiter is also the revealer of secrets. So there could be secret attractions that get revealed. Don't forget, Venus retrograding in your 6th house, your day to day. You might actually be going over some things you missed after having it in your partnership sector, because it's going to go back into your partnership sector. So, you know, a lot could still be revealed when Venus actually goes direct there. So there could be people a little bit in and out at the moment. And that's the way I sort of see this for you. People could be in and out. There could definitely be someone at least that you're incredibly attracted to, because the Empress is all about beauty. She's very, very, very beautiful. There's very, very attractive qualities to her. And then the Ace of Wands is that sparkle. But the Page of Cups is the romance. So we can see this whole picture of a person that could be your ideal. The difficulty, Taurus, lies in the Magician because he's challenging you. So what that sort of tells me when I look at this is that, now I think a lot of Taurus people are very aware quite quickly about the law of attraction and how what you put out to the universe comes back to you. But, you know, being the sign of the bull, when you're not aware of it, or whenever you've gotten out of the swing of it and you're feeling kind of fixed on an idea, you know, you're that fixed energy, Taurus are notoriously stubborn in their ways at times. So you can believe in the law of attraction, but you can counteract it quite a bit. And what the Magician in this side is telling me is that you're not manifesting what it is that you want. If anything, and this is actually, I wonder, is this because Jupiter is changing signs this month? This is coming up for a lot of the signs, is that they're almost blocking something, and it's either on a subconscious level, and a lot of it is probably to do with Venus retrograde energy, because it is slowing down the process of manifestation, particularly in relationships, because it doesn't want you to charge full forward. It doesn't want you to see this red rag, you know, that attracts the bull. It doesn't want you to see something and just charge straight at it. What it actually wants you to do is think and consider, is this romance a good idea? Is this person a good idea? Because Venus retrograde can stir up very unusual attractions, and it can certainly make people appear very attractive that might not necessarily be long-term potential, or vice versa. It can make you wonder about a person that is long-term potential and wonder why, you know, you're not going for that person. Maybe it's because there's a lack of attraction, but a lack of attraction really doesn't seem to be the problem. And we have the Empress here, so I'm on the Ace of Wands. There's someone with a very strong chemistry. I also think for a lot of Taurus, when Venus goes direct this month, some of you that may have been, this is only a select few obviously, but some of you that may have been trying for a child and have been unsuccessful, or you've been having difficulties with a child, that's all released. Because this kind of looks like maternity to me. You know, the Four of Swords is having to take time off and have a lie down, and then the Empress is in the positive position. I think some of you are maybe been trying for a baby, and this looks very much like it. So when Venus goes direct, it is the best time. You know, it's not the best time whenever Venus is retrograde. So I see some of you having success in that area. I know the Four of Swords doesn't look particularly appealing as an outcome, does it, Taurus? But in actual fact, it's a very good omen, because it's just a momentum. It's a slowing down the momentum. And as a Taurus, you do better with a slow burn. You know, the Ace of Wands is kind of, it can sometimes be a bit of a quick spark. And sometimes, because I've noticed since doing this, a lot of Taurus seem to go for, and I know he's not here, but, and maybe we shouldn't talk about him when he's not here, whatever, but a lot of Taurus seem to go for those Knight of Swords. You know, those people that come in really quickly and then disappear really quickly, the ghosters. I sort of noticed them being more present in Taurus readings, and it could be dealing with air sign people, of course, but they're kind of in and out more. Do you know what I mean? The Hermit. I feel like actually this looks like an attraction that really came on quick or came out of nowhere. You know, because he's the Hermit. Eight of Swords. Ooh, the King of Cups. Some of you are definitely dealing with a water sign. Six of Wands. And the Strength card. Could be a Leo actually, but the Seven of Swords is underneath. Some of you are being secretive of an attraction, or you're attracted to somebody who's a secretive person. There seems to be, I don't know if you're feeling kind of unsuccessful about this romance, Taurus. I get the impression in the challenge position you have felt, and in particular if you've been dealing with a Gemini person, I feel like you could have felt kind of unlucky in love. One thing as well I want to be very certain of with this, Venus retrograding, Venus is your ruler. Venus rules people's romantic self-esteem, even their physical self-esteem. You could have been burned by a Gemini person or somebody who you thought was possibly, I almost feel like you maybe felt like this person had more sparkle than you. You maybe felt like this person had more options than you. Maybe this person made you feel less than when you were with them, because this sort of looks to me a little bit like your self-esteem was not in check, because the Six of Wands is victorious, the Magician's a manifester, very magical energy, and it's challenging you. So I feel like you could have felt kind of unlucky in love or unlucky in circumstance. And it sort of seems with the Hermit and the Ace of Wands, of course Hermit can mean Virgo, with the Hermit and the Ace of Wands, this light appeared in the darkness that I don't know if you were necessarily expecting, Taurus, because the Hermit's very solitary. It could also mean that you had to go inward to find that sparkle again, and you kind of seem to want, you know, a romance here, but there's some hesitancy with the Eight of Swords. Now, when I see the Empress and the King of Cups, I think this person in particular, because this looks like a person to me, as I said, could be a water sign. The King and Queen and the Cups and the Page have just come up. With the Empress and the King of Cups, this is definitely someone who is very nurturing and very loving as a person, quite warm, quite shy in some ways. The Empress is quite confident, but she's not always forthcoming because she's that feminine receiver. The King of Cups is kind of similar. He's not necessarily a forthcoming kind of guy. If anything, the King of Cups can be one of those people that likes somebody from afar and is kind of comfortable never making the move. You know what I mean? And the Four of Swords and Strength sort of suggests to me, Taurus, that you might have to, for want of a better phrase, take the bull by the horns, even though you're the bull. You know what I mean? Take yourself by the horns and just go woof. The Strength card is coming out of this inward momentum, because you sort of seemed to be in the Hermit field here. Maybe you just wanted to be single. And then the Four of Swords is the lesser echo of the Hermit. So it's less so, but it's where you get your strength back. You've got your strength from being introspective, from being solo, okay? You could have been recovering from Seven of Swords type personalities, and that's maybe where the trouble lay. You kind of got tired of a lack of truth, whether it be from, of course, because it can go both ways, whether it can be from yourself or from somebody else, you know? I know that a lot of people cross-watch Taurus, so whenever I say, you know, that Seven of Swords personality, don't assume it's you. It can represent a friendship, it can represent a family member, it can always, you know, it's quite a broad thing for generals, so never assume that you are that person, you know what I mean? Because these aren't designed to be accusatory. I do think there was possibly a romance or a potential romance with a fire sign person, so it could have been an Aries, a Leo, or a Sagittarius. A sparkle there, okay? Queen of Wands in particular likes to do their own thing. So if you're involved with a fire sign, especially if it's a Leo, because I see a Leo here, bear in mind that they're a very, not necessarily a busy person, but they have a lot of interests. They're a lot more in the moment. So if you're feeling out of the moment and you're giving a lot of headspace to this, it actually could be that they're not doing anything wrong. It's just that you are thinking about it more because you're less relaxed about it because you have fear. You know what I mean? Because if you weren't worried about it, you wouldn't be checking your phone every 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Let's see. Ah, Taurus, you had a Ten of Swords moment. Okay, so this is why you've been in hermit mode. But this is good. This is the end of a negative cycle, and this is where we're starting from. So this is positive, Taurus. Positive, okay? Justice is interestingly here. So you want something. Now, as I say, you're ruled by Venus. So is Libra. So you could be dealing with a Libra person with justice, of course. But I'm reading this mostly as wanting a balanced relationship because you want someone that meets you in the middle. You know what I mean? You want someone that is on the same page. Oh my goodness. Taurus, you could be definitely dealing with another Taurus, of course, but you're actually this. Ooh, this kind of looks to me, Taurus, like you've met somebody long term, because the Empress and the Hierophant can be a bride. So that could be you, or it could be the person you're dealing with. Maybe you meet somebody at a wedding. Could that be possible? You meet somebody at a wedding. Do they have many November weddings? I don't know. Maybe with the Empress here representing Venus and the King of Cups potentially representing Scorpio, whenever Venus moves back into Scorpio, it could be the time you meet that person that you do marry. I think Jupiter, because it being in your sector of marriage, may actually have set you up with someone that you could marry. Now, this is very intense, so don't assume this has to be you if you're running for the hills right now. It could be that you have been put in their path, or you've met somebody that could be marriage material. Because, as I say, Jupiter, the planet of luck, has been in your marriage sector. So don't rule it out, because Hierophant is there, and the Hierophant is all for marriage, and the Empress is totally up for getting that dress on and walking down the aisle and having her look at me moment. So I do sense that this is sort of good potential here. Now, the Queen of Cups actually has come up in the challenge position too. So this water sign that some of you are dealing with could be a blessing and a curse in some ways. And I'm wondering why. Because they look like long-term potential. Also, bear in mind, if you're dealing with someone and this sounds right, but they're not a water sign, check their moon. And if you know they're rising as well as Venus. Because sometimes they can have very strong, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer connections there. Now, the King and the Queen are sort of head-to-head. So it could suggest that the person you're with is in two minds, if they're the same person. It could suggest that somebody reminds you of somebody from your past, and that's where the problem lies. It could suggest that you really like this person and they're not quite there yet for early people. Ah, the Tower. Yeesh. Interesting. What's underneath then? The King of Swords. Okay. Now, Taurus, don't worry, I'm not going to leave this on a tower, but I was explaining the Tower quite a lot to people recently, so I'm wondering, has it come up because you guys need the same message? What it is that whatever this, because this is something, if you're dealing with a romance here, Taurus, this is something that has great potential, so I just want to be clear of that. The problem is the foundation, and this can be very, very, very common if you meet someone during Venus retrograde. The foundation's not always great. What this means is that either you're sort of in this mode where you've had great destruction or pain with the Ten of Swords, because this means a negative cycle has ended. So don't worry about the Tower, right? This is a negative cycle has ended, but you're not entirely sure how to build something concrete right now because you're working against yourself with the Magician here. So this to me suggests that the problem lies in not believing in your own strength. The Strength card is all about you having grace in the face of adversity and being strong in the face of fear, okay? So the Strength card and the Tower card, when side by side, to me, is about facing your fears in a situation and coming out of that hermit mode which you began with. Because something has peeked you out of your cave with the Ace of Wands here. Something has brought you out. Now, there is that air sign here as well. I was talking about the Knight of Swords, but you seem to have evolved into a king, which is cool. So I'm going to clarify. No, I can't accept this. It didn't happen there. I'm going to clarify this Tower card and see what exactly this is. Oh, okay. Four of Wands. Okay. Knocking something down to build up something stable. It kind of looks like knocking down pretenses to build something authentic. Knocking down something which had superficial values, or because I think a lot of you could be dealing with very strong attractions that you need to make sure that person is long term, as I said with Venus. You're breaking down this tower to rebuild the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands is the epitome of a happy home. It's the epitome of a great surprise, a joyous occasion, a celebration. But these two people are pretty happy with what they have. I mean, they don't have a roof, is one thing that kind of stands out about this card for me, but they're fine. If it rains, I don't know what'll happen. But the Tower card, the Tower card has a roof, but it's crumbled, right? So these people are happier with their relationships rather than the external, okay? They're happier with being together rather than the actual tall, impressive tower, right? So this is all about finding relationships that fulfill you internally rather than just what looks good on the outside or what is repetitive of past patterns. So if you're dating someone in the same way, if you've not had your Ten of Swords moment in your Hermit and you're just trying to throw yourself into something, you're going to have more Tower moments. This is saying that you need to wait for the person who's authentic. And if you believe this person is authentic, you need to be patient with it. And you need to, as I say, not charge on completely. You know, don't just rush into something because it looks good. It is all about finding a Four of Wands rather than a Tower card. Something balanced. And the Four of Swords, to me, suggests that you just need to reflect on this a little bit before you rush in. Because something has definitely knocked your confidence. And with Venus retrograding, you're not possibly feeling 100% who you are. Maybe other people aren't appearing 100% who they are. There seems to be somebody incredibly authentic. Maybe there's two people. Maybe there's somebody incredibly authentic, and maybe there's someone who is the more exciting of the two. And that's where your choice is, right? Justice can be a choice as well. I do think you need to think, who is your Four of Wands and who is your Tower? Who reminds you of the things that have gone wrong before, and who reminds you of the better? Similarly, if you're in a relationship, what pattern reminds you of what went wrong before, and what pattern would be different? Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. You can step past this Tower if you follow a different route. You take a different perspective. Don't repeat what's happened. Try something new. Because it looks like there's something kind of, you know, I look at the Empress, the King of Cups, and the Hierophant and think that's something really special. So if you're dealing with somebody, be it a Gemini, be it a water sign, be it a Leo, be it whatever, make sure that you're not repeating the past mistakes. Make sure that this is something you can actually build on. Because you deserve your Four of Wands moment. Rather than, you know, the Tower. And if you're cross-watching because you like a Taurus, or you're in a relationship with a Taurus, bear in mind that they may be reacting in ways that are to do, when your ruler goes retrograde, I mean, sheesh, it's not easy. So just bear in mind the retrogrades have set everyone in strange motions and strange behaviours, but this is something that can be worked upon, as always, okay? So I'm going to draw a Goddess Guidance card and see what we have for Taurus. I just feel like Taurus gets more cross watchers than the other ones. Oops. Peace. There is no need to worry. Everything is working out beautifully. Well, that's good. Let's see what else we have. Oopsies. Dangerously like Scorpio's cards, aren't they? Let's see. The High Priestess. Peace. Be strong. Strength and be strong. Well, someone's certain of an answer here. You're stronger than you think you are, and your strength ensures a happy outcome. You are dealing with a past life connection. The situation involves past life memories. You could be dealing with a soulmate for sure. Somebody that is, somebody who understands you in a past life level. Someone you've met before. Someone you've dealt with before. Okay? So Taurus, I hope you enjoy your November. I will see you mid-month for the mid-monthly November reads with more talk on astrology and the cards, and we'll see what we have in store for you. Take care, guys. Bye.